Howdy, welcome to a video on site building with WordPress 5.0 versus WordPress 6.0. So start, who are you? I am Ann McCarthy. I'm a WordPress 6.0 co-release coordinator. I'm also a WordPress product liaison for Automatic, and I spearhead the full siting outreach program. So quick note on using old WordPress versions. So I had to spin up WordPress 5.0. I don't recommend doing it. Don't use old WordPress versions. This is just for fun. I made this video in a couple of hours, and it is critical to use the latest versions of software. If you do want to explore old versions, I recommend doing so in a local development environment where there's not a risk of hacking. With that annoying note out of the way, let's look back. So WordPress 5.0 was released on December 6, 2018, introduced the block editor and the 2019 default theme. There were 400 plus contributors, and Bebo was a jazz musician. Now let's look forward. So WordPress 6.0 is set to release on May 24th, 2022. There are 500 plus contributors, there's patterns, design tools, style switching, and more. See my other video for all the details. I'll link to it in the description. So for now, let's actually jump into the different videos. So to start, we'll look at WordPress 5.0 before jumping in to WordPress 6.0. And remember, this is just for fun to kind of show the differences. I love looking back in the past to get a sense of where we're going and why in the future. All right, so this is my test site that is using WordPress 5.0 and the 2019 theme, which was the default theme for that release. So to start, you can see I'm in the customizer. I can go into site identity, make changes that way. I have to, of course I can click this and it'll take me to the different location, but I can't actually edit this directly. So if I want to change the size of this is actually something I have to go into custom CSS. If I want to change, have this be below or have this be deleted, all of these things, I'd have to add custom CSS or fully delete here, but I can't actually customize this more to my liking. So if I go back further, you'll see I've added a custom color onto the images. So this is kind of cool. I can go like this. Maybe I'll add in a red one that's kind of eerie looking. I like it. I can also set to default and then custom. So that's kind of cool. Then from there, menus, I'll create a new menu, call this home. You'll notice that I actually don't know where these locations are. So if I hit primary, I'll add that in. And then from there, let's see, I'll quickly add, we'll do about page, contact, hobbies. That's pretty cool. We'll add in maybe a category, so maybe nature. I'll put under hobbies. From there, I'll hit publish just to make it safe. And so in this case, you'll notice that the color actually matches the color that I made it here, but I can't set my own custom color. So I can only set, let's go all the way back, colors here, but I can change that there and it correlates to what's shown. But it's pretty limited. There's not a lot of customization there. If I want to have, let's say red here and then blue here, I can't actually do that without custom CSS. So from there, we'll go to widgets, and I added in two just to start. So just the usual, I could say post archive. And I could display as drop down, show post counts. But once more, other than changing the title, I can't actually change the location of these. I could maybe change the order, but I can't customize further. So if I wanted to remove this little separator, I couldn't do that without custom CSS. I could also maybe say recent adventures. So I can rename this as well to say my categories, or actually these are different posts. So I'll say latest ramblings, and I can change here. And I can add in display post date question mark. That's kind of funny. I could add that in, but again, can't customize this further. So we'll go back. Finally, another thing, homepage settings. So I can change either to my latest post or a static page. If I select the homepage, let's say this is going to be empty, it'll update it here just to an empty page. But if I want to actually edit things further, I'd have to actually go in and edit the page and go away from this experience. We'll keep it at latest posts. And you'll notice that these posts actually have, there's like nature here, and then this one's categorized as inspiration. If I only wanted, inspiration posts to show up, I can't actually customize that further in the homepage. And then of course, there's the additional CSS, which is where I think a lot of us got used to tweaking things to our liking. But that's how you'd create a homepage in WordPress 5.0. And we can go ahead and hit publish again. And let's go look at WordPress 6.0. All right, now let's take a look at WordPress 6.0. So this is already within the site editor. You can see at WordPress 6.0, look into the future. You can tell I can click into all of these things. I can also easily make changes. So if I want to actually change the orientation, so it's actually like this, I can do that. I can also do things like upload a site logo or just delete it entirely. And what's also neat is you can actually change around the overall visuals of this. So I can make this larger. I can change this to be maybe like thin. I could add in some letter spacing, do something goofy like that. All sorts of stuff here. You can change around the colors, make it link, make it not link. Pretty neat. I can also change the actual block spacing of these blocks. If I want something really drastic, I can do that. If I want something closer together, maybe I'll put like 5 there. Could also add padding. Could even add a border. So this is kind of neat. Maybe I'll add like a little border and add in a little radius. I could do some goofy stuff here. Maybe we'll add in some padding just to build it out. Another neat thing is you can actually have the radius be different depending on the side. So if I wanted it to kind of look like this, I could do that. Kind of nifty looking. You can also, as part of full site editing, if you select the template parts, you can actually replace this entirely. So let's say I'm like, you know what, actually I want a different design. Overall, you can actually open up this cool modal, which will pull through different options. So you can see there's a different menu in use here, but that's no big deal. So maybe let's use this one. This is pretty cool. I'm going to go in and edit this, convert them to links, because it pulls in an automatic menu for you, which is pretty neat. I'll remove these different sample pages. You can tell I have a lot of control over actually how the site looks and feels, including I can actually, for this background, let me open up list view again, pull in the cover block. You can do cool things with the cover block as well. So maybe I want a fixed background. So then as I'm scrolling, it has this neat dropping effect, which is pretty fun. You can also add an overlay. So if I wanted like maybe this kind of overlay, I could change the opacity to have it be something goofy, all sorts of stuff. So I'm actually gonna remove this, but you can see there's a lot of control here, a lot of stuff you can do. Let's go back and actually change this around. So we'll make this a bit larger. We'll do WordPress 6.0. Maybe we'll make it all caps, so it's a bit brighter. Maybe we'll make it thin. How does that look? Too thin. I can change around, do extra bold. We can maybe add in a little bit of letter spacing. That kind of looks goofy. I don't really like that actually. Maybe we'll keep it there. And then there's all sorts of dimensions, so I can add padding and margin as well. So tons of stuff I can do to customize. Now we'll get to the good stuff, which is the actual content of the site. So you can see there's this query loop block that's actually powering this. So if I go in and select the overall query loop block, I can actually once more find this replace flow and pick different query loop options here using either view. I actually prefer this view because I find it easier to kind of click through and see what I want. So you can see there's all these different options here to select whatever view that I'd like, including some kind of cool, funky, like offset designs. So there's lots of options here. I'm going to actually select this one. And then from there, I can do things like change it around between the grids. I can also do things like say I only want 3 items per page. I can even go further and say, you know what, actually I only want nature and maybe I want inspiration. So now only these are going to show up. And maybe I look at this and I go, you know what, I really don't want the pagination here. I can go ahead and remove the next page. I can remove the page numbers. I can remove this. But also just say, I don't really want this either. I'm going to go ahead and remove the post excerpt as well. So now I have my own customized view right here. And maybe kind of similar to WordPress 5.0, maybe I want to change around having a filter. So that looks kind of cool. Maybe I want to do something that's a bit funky like this. I could do that. I could also create my own filter, so I could change this around to be whatever it is that I'd like. I can also change the actual dimensions of this. So there's a couple different options here. We'll go with cover for right now. Maybe we'll change the height to 400. Maybe we'll even up it up a little bit more. So as you can see, there's a ton of control here into what you want to add. I can also do things like change around the actual footer. So you can see this is one option. Maybe I want a darker option. So maybe we'll scroll through and look at a couple different options. Let's go with this one. Real simple, classic, boom. And then from there, if I want to add in more what you could call like widgets, I can go in and add them directly into here using whatever functionality I'd like. So if I want to, let's say I don't want to have the site title, that'll be removed. From there, I can do things like, well, let's say add after, I'll add in, maybe we'll call it social media icon. So I'll add in this, maybe I'll add my WordPress .org profiles. You can see I can also customize this, as you can expect, to whatever I like. So if I want the icon color to maybe be like that, the icon background to be like that, I can do that as well, which is pretty nifty. So compared to the previous editor, there's a ton more control. I can remove things as I'd like. I can add things as I'd like. I could even do things like make this always mobile, which is pretty neat. I could also, if I wanted to, drag in for a row. I could even have it be instead, make it stacked. So these are now like this. So now rather than being on separate sides, I could have change the orientation as I'd like. I could even center it. So maybe I want it right in the middle. I can do that as well. And this is all within my control, which is pretty cool. So that's kind of a brief overview of the differences between the different experiences between creating a site with 6.0 versus 5.0. As you can tell, there's a ton of usage with patterns, a ton more control to make it what you'd like, including curating the actual posts that are shown, and as well as controlling the colors, having access to patterns to change around what you'd like, and having access to tons of design tools. And from there, you're all set. So now let's take this a step further. So let's say you actually want to change up the look and feel of your site. You now have the option to do so with ease and with granularity using style variations. So before with the customizer, you could change around maybe a couple different things, but the entirety of your site would kind of look the same. In this case, you can actually use style variations built into the 2022 theme to actually switch between the look and feel of your site. So now you'll see the fonts change, the size has changed, the colors has changed. And then if I want to, I can just update this real quick. So I could change the highlights to be red. Super easy to do. And from there, I can then make other minor changes. So maybe I want to have this be a bit larger, I can have that be the case. But overall, the general look and feel of my site just changed in a few clicks, which is pretty powerful and part of something with WordPress 6.0 to look forward to. All right, so now you've seen the future of WordPress with WordPress 6.0, and you've seen the progression from 5.0 to 6.0. You might be asking yourself, how can I get involved in the future of WordPress? So maybe you're thinking about WordPress 7.0, WordPress 8.0. So I highly recommend for now joining the full siting outreach program. There are regular calls for testing. There are shares around PRs and upcoming conversations to chime in on. And it's basically a great place to learn this alongside others and to share your feedback about the future of WordPress through full siting. To join, you just jump into the FSE outreach experiment in Make WordPress Slack, and all are welcome. I'll leave information in the description below as well. Thanks so much for watching. To stay in touch, you can find me at nomad.blog or at Anzazu on Make Slack. I hope this helped give you a sense of where we've been as well as where we're going, and help get you excited about WordPress 6.0 and the future of full siting, where you can edit all parts of your site.